So for those of you who want to do the cereal box version, okay, this was my cereal box. I just took the top flaps, the bottom flaps, and this part off, and I am left with basically our base. And all you need to do is just cover it up with either cardstock or scrapbooking paper. I have my scrapbooking paper already ready, and that's what I will be doing. So I will just show you quickly. Get my cover. I think I will want my cover to be, well, that will be pretty. Get some of that. This will be my cover. So the paper does not have directions, so that's not important. And basically, again, I am leaving that margin at like 1 inch margin, or the 2 to 3 centimeter margins. Okay, and because this is one piece, you won't want to cut. You don't need to cut them in half. Okay, you don't need to cut them in three pieces, like for those that are doing the chipboard version, which has 3 pieces. This is one piece, so we will be doing it all together. So that means I will need to stick this one to this one. All right, which I will be doing now. And this you can do with your double-sided sticky tape. Don't forget to varnish it so that it sticks better, and much easier to take out the backing. There we go. So I have now one big piece of scrapbook paper. Okay, and this is my cereal box. Now, well, there's one thing I like to do with the cereal box, because the cereal boxes normally are printed in nice shiny, you can see the shine there, it's very smooth. This might not glue as well, so I take sandpaper, or this is the same thing, and I just rough it up. Okay, rough it up so that the glue sticks nicely to it, or better to it. Okay, you can just, this is actually better to do with sandpaper, but I don't have my sand block here, so this will do it. And you do it all over. Try to do it sideways, up and down, so you get different grooves in your cereal box. Try not to rip. If you rip it, if it's too bad, then you'll have to use a new cereal box. If it's not that bad, scrapbook paper will cover it up. So now I'm just going to go to the bin and wipe this off with a dry tissue. Right, now much more raggedy and not so smooth, so the glue will stick nicely. And here, once again, you can do liquid glue or tacky glue, or you can do your double-sided glue, anything you like. You can do both, whatever you are comfortable in using. So what I do is I do the same square here, okay, because this needs glue on the edge of the, it's like, just envision the one piece of chipboard as you would do it. It's the square, and then fill it up with glue, and the glue needs to come right on the edge, or else the paper will just lift. Okay, it'll pop up. And the same thing with the spine, that square on the edges, and with the back cover as well. So that's what I will be doing. You want to do the sticky tape as well, or do both glues, you know, sticky tape goes first and then the liquid glue. Okay, that should be enough. Now sticking it down, remember to keep that margin. The size I chose for the cereal box is slightly smaller than the size I chose for the one I'm doing with the 3 pieces of chipboard. It will be nice to have 3 different sizes of my Lapbook box. Maybe this one will be for the embellishments, the ephemera. I still don't know. Now, cutting the excess. Okay, I have too much scrapbook paper here and here, so I will just be cutting it there and there. So I've cut my excess off, and I will need to do exactly the same thing. The triangles, leave that space, okay, just the edge of the chipboard thingy there, of my cereal box, leave about 1/2 centimeter, and that would be maybe 1/8 of an inch. So don't cut it all the way up to the pointy part of your cereal box. Triangles do not need to be exactly the same, that's not important. Now, my glue hasn't dried yet. Still see it making the paper go wonky. Now, because this is a straight one, we will still have a tendency to do that. Okay, I still think that even if you are using the cereal box and it's all nice and straight and we didn't glue it on skew or crooked, I still think we should do that method. Okay, but just be careful because the cereal box isn't as thick as the chipboard, so it will bend a bit. Try not to bend it when we press down on the table. So let's try and do this. I like keeping a hand on this part here and just helping the bend, pushing it down. This is a bit harder because the cereal box isn't as hard, and it tend to bend like that, but you'll manage. It'll all go well. That one's done. Let's just do these sides here. And do that there. Okay, so now, glue. We will need either whatever you're comfortable with, the sticky tape, the double-sided sticky tape, or tacky glue, whatever you're used to working with, whatever you're comfortable working with. If you want to use both of them, use both of them. If you want to use just one, use just one. To use the edges to line up with all the other edges. That way it goes like right up to the end, the edge of the scrapbook paper. Okay, now let's varnish this thing all the way. I've been making sure it's really stuck on my paper. I could be using a bone folder for this, but it's all the way back there. Or should I say it's some way back there? I have no idea where it is. Scissors does the same thing. So now, as I said with the chipboard pieces, do the parallel sides first. Either do the long sides first or the short sides first, whichever you want. I like doing the long sides first. And we fold this in just the same way as we made our creases, so it goes nice and straight. And this one here, there we go. Now because your cereal box isn't that thick, this might not be a problem, but I still like to make the crease on the edges here. On all 4 sides. You will definitely need to do this when you're working with chipboard. That's ready. So I'm going like this. Go, and that is done. And no need to push these inside because there's no spaces in between the chipboard pieces. There's one whole piece. So now we just carefully bring that in, because our cereal box is already scored, but our paper is not. So just help the crease there. You don't want to really flatten it because you won't need to flatten it. Just help it make that crease. And because of the glue, I did use the wet glue, the paper is a bit humid and it just might tear. And I don't like paper tearing, so that is our little structure here. And all we need to do now is just cover up this part here. Now, with the chipboard pieces, we use 3 pieces, and with this I will do exactly the same. I will not use one whole piece. The only difference is in the chipboard pieces we would have that white. Where's the other? We would have that white, and we'd have to glue the papers right on the edge of the chipboard piece. With this case, okay, the paper will go, let me see if I can get it. The paper will go right up to the edge as well, but just before the crease. Okay, we don't want it on top of the crease. We want it just before the crease so that it doesn't disturb when we open and close our album, it doesn't disturb that crease. So it will go just before. So that's what you want to measure. And then of course you can leave the 1 centimeter, or I keep forgetting how much 1 centimeter is, about 2/16, that's right, of a margin, or more if you like, just so we can see that little bit of scrapbooking paper at the back. It'll look nice, it'll have a nice margin. So I will be cutting my 3 pieces and I will be back. So let's measure. Have this nice one here. So I will be measuring, leave that 1 centimeter or 2/16 of an inch margin this way. So I'll just place my paper where it should be, and then I will see where that crease is of my cereal box, and I will mark just before that. Okay, and let's do the height. Let's do the height of it, and I'll cut this because I want the same paper on this side and on that side. That's the height of it, and here's my mark. So my first mark, and I will bring this mark all the way to this crease over here, so that I can then take advantage of this little piece that I have here. So that will be there, and then I will mark 1 centimeter in, or 2/16 of an inch. I'm getting good at this, I think. Okay, so those are my 2 pieces for that part there. And for the center, I have this little one here, which I will now need to mark the same size as these ones. There we go. And the same thing will apply for the spine piece. You will place the paper, there's my score line of my cereal box. I will place my piece of paper inside that score, or just beside the score line. And then same thing with this one here. I will mark just inside the score line. So you will, when we stick the papers, the 3 pieces of paper down, we will have to see these score lines. Okay, that's compulsory. You have to see those score lines. So basically you cannot have anything obstructing these score lines. Okay, so that is it. That one will go there, and I will be gluing this down. Again, the square around the paper, and then just beside that score line, inside it, or rather on the edge of it. Make sure that your margins are all the same, and glue it down. checking to see that my score lines are not being obstructed by the paper. Am I saying that right? Obstructed? That sounds very weird. I'm hoping you're understanding what I'm saying. Nothing must sit on those score lines. Let me just say it that way. And this goes inside the score lines. For those of you that like distressing, you can actually distress those score lines in there so it won't look so ugly grey. Okay, so that is it. That one's done. That's your cereal box. Okay, so now we will be going on to the other part. And because this will be exactly the same as my chipboard one, I will not be working on this one for the tutorial. I will be working on just the other one that I made with the chipboard pieces. So it will apply the same. Okay, just be careful of your measurements, and well, basically everything will be basically the same except for the measurements, maybe because it's slightly smaller. All right, see you for part 3.